Okay, so this is the property at 86338 Spring Lake. This is looking down the street. This street goes out to the main Spring Lake Boulevard, and then this is a different street that also curves around and goes out, and then this section here is a dead end. So it's right kind of like on this point here. This area is pretty much mostly high and dry, except for the maybe closer to the actual lake itself. One thing I did want to point out is this one house here. It still looks manicured as far as the yard and everything. Like this one looks like they're probably going to mow this weekend, things like that. So for the most part, I would say this neighborhood does have good pride of ownership. This would be the only one that might be a little questionable from what I saw driving in and everything, and that's just because they've got the 2 boats and everything. But I can't say, and all those trailers, but the trailers are like behind their lot line, behind that green fence there. So I think there's probably more pride of ownership than maybe even what we're giving them credit for. They just happen to have more toys. But this is the property, and the first thing I noticed coming in is that you've got this beautiful hedge here, which kind of gives your yard some privacy, which is nice, and this long driveway. So again, taking a look at the front yard here. And Kathy and I were going through, we've got a couple of different types of hibiscus plants. This is a devil's backbone of some kind, very neat looking plant. They've got some up by the front door as well. Very cool looking, but no fruiting plants in the front yard. These are crepe myrtles here. They've let them grow a little bit wild, which is okay. But this nice front yard. These are a couple of hibiscus. That 5 star is like a Texas 5-star hibiscus or something. Regular hibiscus. Looking back again at the yard here. And you've got a croton. I always call them croutons, like the salad here, but that's what that particular plant is. This here, I'm not entirely sure what that is. The leaves look smaller than a gardenia, but it kind of has the coloring of a gardenia. But a lot of flowering plants up here. Let me walk around to this side real fast, just because I don't know how fenced this yard is offhand. But this is the one side of the property. The wooden fence, I'm going to suspect belongs to the neighbor, but it does look well cared for. And then the other side's not as wide, so we'll probably catch that on our way into the backyard. They do have some pathway lights here, walking up to the door. Oh, let me back out for a second just so you can see this little alcove area. So nothing too fancy, very simplistic. And then we'll walk in. Ooh, I think that spring needs to be corrected just a little bit. So this is just the foyer here. Very small foyer, nothing very fancy. And then as I step in, this door right off to my right goes out to the garage. So it is a 2-car garage. It is probably 20 or 22 inches wide. And it's probably at least 22 inches deep, I would say, plus where these curtains are hung. And these curtains actually probably hide like their lawn equipment and stuff. Yeah, it kind of hides all their lawn equipment, but they've got some racks there and shelving and whatnot to kind of be able to store your lawn equipment and yard equipment and everything here. So that's nice from that standpoint. And you've got no exterior door that goes outside to the side yard. Instead, they've got this privacy glass window here. And then of course your garage door with the garage door opener, and that appears to be in good shape, all things considered. I didn't see anything bad on the outside, like dents or anything like that either. So if we come back inside now, and we will walk through here. So they've got like this little closet that looks like they converted it into like a little office nook. And then off to my left is a closet, which they use as a pantry. And then if we continue to my left here is the kitchen. Now it's a pretty decent sized kitchen. I'm going to zoom out just so you have a better field of view with this. This window faces forward, so that faces into the front yard. And this is more like a galley kitchen, so it's long with your sink and dishwasher and stove, electric stove with the hood vent over. And they've got a little microwave stand and the refrigerator. Now this refrigerator is in here at an angle. It does have a little alcove back there. So I don't know if that just had to do with the size of fridge that they got, or maybe they were cleaning in the back, or they just wanted it to face more into the room. It looks like there should be space enough for it to go back, straight back like it's supposed to. The other thing, maybe they decided to put it at an angle because when they did put it straight back, maybe it hung over this edge a little bit, and that might have been why they decided to angle it like this. And you also have a pocket door right here. So if you need to close the kitchen off from the front foyer area, you could do so. So we'll come back into the foyer area and down a little bit more here. And there's this next set of closets where your water heater is and your AC unit, which is nice that the AC unit is here inside. From a cooling standpoint, I always think that if they're inside, they should be more efficient, personally. And then off to my left again is a half bathroom. So this bathroom's cabinet is a little dated, but it looks like it's a pretty standard size. So you could probably just replace the cabinet alone with one from the hardware store like Lowe's or Home Depot and be just fine with that. And it does have a little medicine cabinet there as well. So coming into the living room, again, I am zoomed out a little bit for field of view. So this living room overlooks the backyard and then the side sunroom area, and then of course your dining room. And I'm going to zoom back into like a 1-to-1 ratio just so you kind of get a feel without feeling like it's so massive. But it's large. It's not a small living room by any means. These pieces of furniture, especially that armchair right there, is rather big. So for relative size, that gives you an idea. And then of course there is this buffet here and on the wall there, and then this table's already set for 6, so that gives you an idea as to size. Again, these are rather large pieces of furniture, so decent sized living dining room combo. And then We will run off to our left here through the dining room. This is one part of the kitchen. So we didn't go over this before when we were in the kitchen. Here is your washer and dryer. So, and it is behind some bifold doors here in the kitchen. And then if we go through this pocket door, so this coming from the dining room to the kitchen or vice versa does not have a pocket door. It is just an enclosure. It looks like it may have had a regular door at one point that they have buffed in or filled in the wood and repainted. But this here and then the other entrance to the kitchen both have pocket doors. So we'll come in and to my left here. This is one of the bedrooms, which they have set up more like a sitting room. And this overlooks the front yard for location. And then you've got the closets with the bifold doors. Oop. So each of these closets is its own closet. So it's not a pass-through like I was kind of expecting a pass-through, but here we are. And then if we come out of here, we get to our first full bathroom. And it has a shower and tub combination, a single sink. Again, this is a fairly standardized size for the age. So you probably could just replace that with something from the hardware store. I believe this floor is either all tile or it's wood. Let's see. No, that's tile. So even though it looks like wood, it's actually a tile floor. So, but all the floors look to be in really good shape. And like I said, because they are tile, they're going to be easy to clean. So coming into this bedroom now. And I am still in a 1-to-1 ratio. Both these rooms are decent size. This one could possibly be a little bit bigger, but I also think they might be the exact same size, and they just look different because of the furniture that's in them. And again, there are 2 closets, probably without a pass-through is my guess. So that, again, that means that each closet is its own entity. And this room overlooks the backyard. Yeah, these are both the same. So there's a good possibility these 2 rooms are just mirror images of each other. This bed is probably a queen size bed. So for size, you know, in the room. I'm gonna zoom out here real fast. All right. And we're gonna walk back through the kitchen. So this is one half of the house. And then back through the dining room and the living room to the other half of the house. And this is where the primary bedroom is. And this primary bedroom does overlook the backyard. Let me go back to a 1-to-1 ratio. This is a rather large primary, and this bed is a king size bed. And we come through this little alcove here into the bathroom, but let me turn around this way so you can see the room from a different angle. I'm going to zoom back out. All right, so the master bathroom, or the primary bathroom, has 2 sinks here. So you would have to get the measurements to see if you could buy like one from the hardware store, but given the fact that it's between the 2 walls, There is a possibility where you could buy a standard cabinet. You might have to put spacers in on each side of the cabinet just so it's centered to the wall if you wanted to update that. You've got your closet. Again, each individual closet here. So there's 2 closets, and this one does go all the way in a little bit. And then you've got a tub in here. And then you've got your area with your toilet. Now they do have blinds over this because as you can see it's late afternoon, so the sun just blares in, but it is privacy glass. And then you've got your shower. So let me go to 1-to-1 and I'll walk back out. So it is a split bedroom plan. You've got the 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom on the other side. You've got a half bathroom for additional guests, and then the primary bedroom and bathroom over here. So if we go out now through the living room here, and that is a fireplace. I don't know if it is they obviously don't use it from what it looks like, but I don't know if it's wood burning or not. I don't remember if it's said in the listing, but we can find out. I'm going to suspect that it is wood burning, just knowing the houses around here, but we'll double check that. So we've got 2 steps down into the Florida room here, and these steps, I was expecting concrete, but I just stepped on it and it's wood. So, but it's under the roof line here, and this is just like a Florida sunroom type thing. It does have solid windows. They have them open for the breeze. So if you can hear the breeze from coming off the lake a little bit, it's just got a nice quiet feel to it. And then we'll come out this door here to the backyard. And you've got some fern along the tree line here. We're still in a 1-to-1 ratio, but when I walk down to the lake, I will zoom out just so you have a better field of view. I do want to show you this. So this bush here does produce fruits, and I've heard 2 things about it. Most people will tell you it's a beauty berry bush. Supposedly, you can basically make like jams and stuff out of the beauty berry. But I have also heard that there's a possibility it is a nightshade of some kind, which means it is poisonous to humans, but the birds love these berries. So it's worth keeping. I have one in my yard. I hear what people say about it all the time. You know, there's always these mixed reviews on if it's some kind of nightshade or if it really is like this beauty berry bush or whatever. You know what? My birds love it, and I keep it. It's pretty, so I just leave it. All right, so I have zoomed out. And again, there's that fence that belongs to the neighbor. And you've got some landscaping. And then from here, we're just gonna walk down to the water. Fortunately, it's not raining. I've already ruined a pair of shoes looking at, not for you, but for somebody else. I was looking at a property for them, and ruined a pair of shoes over it because I didn't know it had rained that morning, and I was trouncing all through the dirt and was completely soaked by the time I was done. So I had to buy a new pair of shoes. I'm not complaining. So you've got this nice pathway here. It is pretty level, all things considered. Obviously, you know, you'd have to have like the big tires to roll down it. But I will say that it's a nice walk. It's got the trees shading it, things like that. And then this is Spring Lake. And if, like I said, if I recall correctly, this is a spring-fed lake. So it will always have water in it, being spring-fed. You should have some nature. You've got the lily pads in there. Things like that. You should have some turtles in there. Yes, gators are a thing, but we have alligators in literally every lake. So if you're not that interested in alligators, then my suggestion is don't go swimming. And again, the pathway that I just walked up. And as you can hear, the sounds of nature out here, and an airplane. But the airplane's to be expected. You are along one of the flight paths for Leesburg International. It is not a big major airport. 777s cannot land there. The only reason it's international is because the guys who fly like the Lear jets and the smaller planes, they like to fly in and out of there from other countries in their own private jets. And so they paid the money to go ahead and get it transferred to an international airport so they could clear customs. Basically, when they get ready to come back in to the country, they call the customs guy and they say, hey, can you meet us at the airport? And they do. So the guy's not even like full-time there. So I'm walking through some here, but I wanted to kind of get a view of the side. So from the hedge line here, this way is actually the neighbor's yard, but there's like a hedge line that's where those big oak trees are. Let me see if I can get it better over here. And that's basically the edge. The hedge line is going to be the edge of your house, like or of your property line, I mean. So there's space between the property line and the house, so that's not an issue. It's just not very big on that side, whereas this side actually is big enough that if you wanted to or needed to that you could get a boat back here or something. We would have to check and see, because I don't see these people have a dock. Most people do not on this lake, and I do not see any motorized boats. So if you're going to be boating in it, I believe it has to be a non-motorized boat. So just so you're aware. And that is the bulk of this house.